What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our 2024 Jacksonville Jaguars mock draft. Okay. Now, in this episode, we not only have one, but we have two scenarios, and it's up to you guys, the fans, the audience of the show, to take and comment below who has the better mock draft. Kicking it off first is Timeout with Arrik. Follow him on Twitter. Arrik, man, go ahead and take us away. Why did you choose what you chose, man?
Well, let's be honest. I don't really care about the Jags being an Eagles fan, obviously, but we do know that the Jags need a lot of help this year in a lot of different positions. They kind of had I would say, an up and down career or up and down season this year with a bunch of injuries and inconsistencies. But we would start the draft off with a draft pick at 17. Zerzan or Jars or Jerzan Newton. He's a defensive tackle from Illinois. I think that he has 3 pass deflections this year. He's about 6'2", 295, so you would think that's a little undersized, but he makes up for it. The dude is extremely hyper elite as far as flexibility. His one-on-one traits are extremely eye-popping on screen. The dude is extremely slippery and can create havoc at the line. If I were to go pick 48, I'm looking at Cooper BB or Baby BB if you're feeling kind of freaky. Dude is a offensive guard, but he's a 6'4", 322. They're saying that this dude may arguably be the top guard prospect in this 2024 class. He's an extremely elite athlete. His strength just pops off the charts. Very good NFL starter. I would say probably day one. And if we're looking at Josh Newton, their secondary was questionable at best with the Jags. I think that Josh will be a pretty good prospect when he comes in. The dude is about, I want to say 5'10", 5'11-ish. Slight in size, probably about 188 right now. But I would say they probably put a couple pounds on him. He's got extremely good patience. He likes to press a lot up at the line. He definitely hawks the ball pretty effectively. I think he has a great change of direction and ability to stay in the hip of these receivers that we know are getting harder and harder to guard every single play. Cam Hart, looking at the 112 pick, he's a corner. He was all right. I think that he'll be a safe pick at this one, 112. You kind of are going to run into the, day 2 lull in the NFL draft, but I think that he'll still have a great impact on that roster. He may get an opportunity, should injuries happen to their starting corners. Joshua Gray, he's an offensive guard for Oregon State this year. Oregon State doesn't get a lot of love during the year, but I think that him with his size, he's going to be impactful. He's about 6'4", 306. Impressive strength. His weight transfer and balance is extremely impressive. I think that he'll be probably a late day 2 pick. And looking at Zion, Tupola Fitui. Did I get that right, fellas?
Sounds about right. Yep, I co-sign that.
It sounds pretty close, I would say. But looking at him, dude, Washington had a wonderful year. Of course, they were led by Michael Penix, one of the runner-ups in the Heisman race. But I do think that he, as an edge rusher, has great size, 6'3", 258. There were some questions as far as consistency throughout his career, had some ups and downs, but I think he does have a great skill set, awesome burst off the line of scrimmage. He's a high level activity guy when it comes to active hands and lanes. And Doug, you played college football, so I'm sure that coaches love those active hands.
Everywhere, man. Everywhere.
Yeah. Telling you. But I do think he'll be pretty good. And then last but not least, George Hulani, Boise State. So we know Boise State always has those hidden gems. You're just sitting here looking at this team, you see the blue field, you think it's great, but I think this kid will actually be a great returner. I know they've got him listed at a running back, but his speed is extremely high. I mean, it's like turbo when he catches the ball. So I think he'll be something that will be able to supplement Hardy if Hardy can't stay healthy. But
Okay.
I think it'll be good for him.
I love it. I love it. Hey, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Nah, I give this I would say a solid B. A solid B,
Hmm.
and this is good, man. As high as a B plus too, man. Like, look, the games are won and lost in the trenches, man. So I like that you added to the D line, you added to the O line as well too, and they have a lot of pieces of the puzzle, man. They just were not stuff is just not working outright in Jacksonville. They teased us early on, man. At one point, they had only 3 losses, and they were doing great, and then things just fell apart like midway through the season. So I think added more depth, shoring up some areas, definitely the first 3 or 4 picks here, definitely could be day one starters potentially, man. So this is good. This is good. So, folks, that's scenario number 1. We're moving on to scenario number 2. Now, Chris, take us away. Now, before you guys take and do that, I'm gonna need you guys to go to Spotify and follow 403 Washington Podcast. You look at if you want to feel like you're hanging out with the guys, drinking a brewski, talking sports. That is a show you want to take and be at, man. 403 Washington Sports Podcast. Check them out on Spotify. That link will be down below in the description. Boom. Take it away, Jacksonville. Talk to me, Chris.
All right, my man. So here's what we got. The Jags, as you said, started this season 8-3. They finished the last weeks, and they finished the season at 9-8. So what happened? Trevor Lawrence ended up getting injured. So they need to fix some offensive line problems, interior offensive line at that. They're one of the few teams in the NFL that have the quarterback position figured out. So you also have a star running back. But the Jaguars have 3 number 2 wide receivers. So that's why I'm taking Brian Thomas at at 17th overall. All the Jags wide receivers, they're all undersized. So you go with Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver from LSU. He's 6'4". Second team all SEC, explosive at the point of catch. Route running is fantastic. He's going to be a huge help to Trevor Lawrence.
No pun intended.
48th overall, T'Vondre Sweat, defensive tackle from Texas. The Jags ended up getting gashed by the run by Derrick Henry and the Titans and the Ravens. That does tend to happen to a lot of teams. However, adding this mountain of a man will help that. This guy is 6'4", 346. Defensive tackle that's going to do a lot to absorb a lot of double teams in the middle of the line. His stats are not going to jump off the page at you as most defensive tackles don't, but he's going to be a run stopper. He lives in the opponent's backfield. 79th overall, I also took Josh Newton just like Arrik did. So 5'10", 188, probably the best senior prospect in the Big 12. Doesn't have top-notch speed, makes up for it with technique, great patience and pressure, never panics. Like I said, even though he's 5'10", he does have a great change of direction. 112th overall, Jackson Powers Johnson. Kind of sounds like a law firm name, not to be confused with Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. But this guy is 6'3", 320, third-year player at Oregon. He's even taken snaps at defensive line in the 2021 Alamo Bowl. Ended up playing center in 2023 and excelled at it. Decent mobility for his size, agile off the snap. At times, he loses leverage and consistency of his pad level, but it's something that can easily be worked on. 146th overall, Josh Cowing, Arizona wide receiver. This guy's a modern slot type receiver, 5'11", $170, super quick, easily creates separation off the line. He's comfortable with a variety of routes inside and out, and he has the speed after the catch to make him a home run hitter. 177 overall, McAllen Castle. This guy's interesting. He's probably undersized for a tight end. 6'5", 230 pounds. A little bit light. He'll probably need to put on 20 pounds or so. But he's a former 4-star recruit, very physical blocker, has the ability to stretch the field. Now, Evan Ingram had a career year this year. lot of 5 to 7 yard passes to Evan Ingram, and they need a guy on they ran the most 2 tight end sets of any team in the league. So adding another tight end opposite of Evan Ingram that is dangerous as a deeper threat from those 5 to 7 yards could really open up their offense. He is a day 3 pick, I would say, but he does have very high upside. 208th overall, Walter Parks, guard from Clemson, 6'5", 306. He has a lot of positional versatility and may not end up at guard, but I would say he was a multi-year starter for a major college program and actually has sub 5-second 40 speed. He moves very well at the second level and is a great run blocker, but he will have to get better at his pass blocking.
Hey, look at that. I love this, bro. I love this. I'm going to take it from Brian Thomas, dude. 15 touchdowns, man. Tied for first place with Jalen Coker from Holy Cross, who I've had on the show. But both of them tied for first place, man, for most touchdowns in NCAA. Brian Thomas is going to be such a game changer. Jacksonville Jaguars is sitting so pretty at the 17th spot. They can't go wrong. They could go so many directions, man. I like that you beefed up the trenches, man. Josh Newton, man, beefing up that secondary. Jacob Cowing, I remember seeing him in that bowl game, dude, and they balled out. Arizona did their thing. I didn't think they were going to win that game. They balled out, man. And I love the McAllen Castles pick. So, man, very good job. Both of you. Ladies and gentlemen, though, my word don't mean nothing. I want to hear what y'all got to say. So taking it, go down below and comment below. Maybe they were both whack and you hate hearing my voice. Unsubscribe. I don't care. Thank you for spending time with us, though, today. And if you liked us, if you kind of liked us, hit that subscribe button and follow my guy, Time Out with Arrik Wren. I have his handles on the screen right now. He has a podcast coming out very, very soon and frequent friend of the show. And then, of course, we got 403 Washington podcast. Chris, my man, you killed it as always, man. Follow him on Spotify. That's going to be down in the description of this video. God bless you guys. Wash your dirty hands. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith, where I cover all 32 NFL teams plus NFL exclusive interviews. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for the alerts. Comment below, and we'll catch you next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith.